American Craftsman Podcast is proud to partner with Montana Brand Tools. The West was built by people with strength and great pride in their workmanship. It was a necessity that early settlers of Montana have a strong will, a resilient character, and great determination to tame the rugged landscape while adapting to its dramatic climate. That spirit, made in the USA pride and craftsmanship, is alive today, both in how Montana Brand tools are manufactured and how they perform. Montana Brand power tool accessories are manufactured utilizing proprietary, state-of-the-art CNC machining equipment and the highest quality materials available. Montana Brand tools are guaranteed for life to be free of defects in material and workmanship because we build these tools with pride and determination. Montana Brand tools are manufactured by Rocky Mountain Twist, located in Ronan, Montana. Montana Brand's heritage comes from a long line of innovative power tool accessories. Use coupon code American Craftsman for 10% off your order at montanabrandtools.com.
Well, here we are. Let's not waste any time with
rock right into it.
Yeah, just jump in. Episode 44 of the American Craftsman Podcast. We've been running around all day.
I know, it feels good.
Yeah.
Just to settle in now, right?
Oh, yeah. Kind of under the gun with, getting things lined up for this delivery tomorrow and stuff with picking up a U-Haul and all that. So doing the podcast a little bit early today, about an hour and a half earlier than we usually start. So I'm going to pick up the U-Haul tonight for tomorrow.
Then tomorrow we'll haul it.
Oh, yeah. Won't that be nice?
You always feel classy when you're riding in one of those U-Haul trucks.
Nothing instills confidence in your client like pulling up in a rented, run-down vehicle.
They promised to give us the cream of the crop, though,
That's true.
It's going to say, like, greetings from Tennessee or something on the side.
Like a lizard.
Yeah. No, it'll have, like, an acoustic guitar or something from
Nashville,
Tennessee.
Music City.
Yeah.
Anywho, listen, August 7th, 2:30 p.m., the official American Craftsman Podcast meetup.
Yeah.
At Belford Brewing Company in Belford, New Jersey. Just about, a mile from the shop.
Yeah, real close.
So I'm going to have to make some kind of Facebook event or something. I don't know. Do people still use Facebook? And
I don't know.
So we can try and get some kind of head count, just so I can let them know. I mean, they could fit up to 100 people. I don't foresee there being 100 people.
No,
but
we get 24 or so. I'd be happy.
Yeah. So we're gonna have 36 glasses. These glasses that we're gonna give to the first 36. If there's, hopefully, it'd be cool if there's more than 36.
Oh yeah.
But if you want a glass, show up early. So they're open. They're only open until I think 6 o'clock. So that's why we're doing it early. We're gonna do 4 originally, but 2:30. Belford Brewing Company on Leonardville Road in Belford, New Jersey.
Do they have food there?
No. We were thinking about trying to figure something out with that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a place next door, Pueblo Mágico, which is really good Mexican. We got big mics up the road. So we'll maybe I'll try and start the event and I'll pick people's brains and see.
Yeah. Especially if we get a head count, we can maybe get an idea on what to bring in there for noshing.
Just, pack your pockets with pretzels, peanuts.
Yeah.
Half pound or 2 of Black Forest ham.
Not those chocolate-covered variety. They'll melt in your pocket today.
M&Ms, that's why they're invented.
Yeah.
And then also next week, which didn't realize it was next week, at 11 Eastern on Tuesday, July 13th, we got the Patreon live stream, a live design workshop. So our buddy Jerry, who's one of our patrons, he's gonna be on the other end, and we're gonna live design and go back and forth.
Cool.
A piece for him. He's gonna be the test subject. So we're gonna show you guys live how we go about, and Rob will be the one primarily. He's the design guru. I'll play switchboard guy.
Yeah.
So, if you want to check that out, join the Patreon. Links in the description. That's available to any tier patron.
Oh, cool.
All the way from $3 a month. So, we'd love to have you on that. It'll be our second live stream. This is something that we're doing quarterly, so 4 times a year. We ask the patrons, what do you want us to talk about? and design is what they pick. So
That's going to be fun.
yeah.
Does Jerry know what he's gotten himself into?
I think, oh yeah. I think he said he has like a little butler's pantry.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Correctly.
So I'm going to see if Jerry wants a butler's pantry. It's going to have like some of that beadboard.
Shiplap, white inset with really skinny rails and styles.
We just.
Yeah.
Because 9 out of 10 times when a room like that appears, they'll give us a picture of something and go, oh, can you do something like this?
Yeah. Or
It's
identically like this. If it's a mud room, forget about it.
Yeah.
Butler's pantry, I could see maybe going like wood, some people.
Yeah.
Even like homes that I worked in that were like super custom homes, but even custom homes are cookie cutter as hell.
Yeah.
White kitchen, butler's pantry. Okay, we're doing walnut.
Oh, nice.
But we'll see. We'll see what Jerry wants.
All right.
Kind of went out of order here, but I guess let's get to the beer of the week.
Yeah.
It's hot out there. It's 90 right now.
They said it feels like 100.
Let me get my, I keep forgetting about the B-roll video.
Now,
Turn her sideways.
this week we have a larger brewer than usual.
Yes.
Still small, but, relatively speaking.
So, yeah, this week we have Yuengling Traditional Lager.
Mm-hmm.
Original amber beer. Brewed in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Isn't that home of Zippo as well?
Is it? I didn't know that.
America's oldest brewery.
That's the part I knew.
This is a special edition. Team Red, White, and Blue, enriching veterans' lives.
That's what the RWB stands for. There you go.
So we got 3 of these because that's my seltzer. I forget that when I turn my head back there that the mic's not picking up the sound. Yeah, because one, it looks awfully small in these glasses. These are 16-ounce glasses. So at the meetup, they'll literally be pouring beer into these glasses. So,
It's got a nice golden color.
Now, I remember in college, I went to school in West Virginia, and I guess maybe they had just begun distributing to West Virginia. Like, Yuengling was only in 13 states at that point, so I don't know how many it's in now, but it's not available everywhere.
That's kind of like what the story of Smokey and the Bandit's based on,
I thought that was like moonshine or something.
No, that was Coors, I think.
Oh.
And they couldn't get it west of the Mississippi or something to that regard.
Or east of the Mississippi.
Right. That's
much
what
to
it
the
was.
chagrin of old Deadwood. As my phone is still recording.
May he rest in peace.
Now, this 12-ouncer went... We'll have to drink some and then pour more.
Yeah. Mine did all right.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers to all you. That's a decent regular beer.
Yep. That's what I'll say.
The head, or the foam, as they say, kind of has that cheap beer taste. Like getting through that down to the beer itself.
You got to get to the beer.
That tastes like cheap beer. This almost tastes like Coors regular. Like Coors banquet beer.
Yeah.
It kind of tastes like that.
Yeah. That's what the real cowboys drink.
We'll let these settle out. So let us know if you guys have had Yuengling.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly a Northeast and I think the whole East Coast now is sort of.
They probably get it.
Yeah, because I've heard people that are from like Florida and stuff talking about like Yuengling. Yeah, it just tastes like a regular. I mean, I guess whatever. Screw the format. I'll talk about the beer now. It just tastes like sort of like a regular beer, but it's got more maltiness to it. You know?
It's pretty crisp. I thought.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not like packed with flavor, but it's got a lacy white head,
Yeah.
pillowy. Well, this week's tool of the week, we don't physically have it present.
It's too big.
Yeah, and it was all tied into the table. But this also, now it's the second question because I messed up. But ties into what will make the first question.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to read the question or
Sure, I will. It's, what do you think about the new Conturo? That's from our patron Jerry, GA Woodshop on Instagram. I love it.
Yeah.
And I know I would love it if we hadn't had the experience with that sort of semi-budget model.
Mm-hmm.
But after trying out something that's, that a lot of people would probably opt for because of the cost and all those things, that's one of the knocks on the Festool line of tools is they are expensive. But it's like another world, another universe of machinery compared to the first one.
Yeah, I was saying it's like the other one's like a rock.
Yeah.
And then this one's like not even a hammer. It's like something better than a hammer.
Cell phone.
Yeah.
It's because now the old one had, they all kind of operate the same way. From the big machines to the handheld ones, something applies glue to the tape, and there's some kind of pressure roller, and then there's a feed, whether that's you or,
Right.
the
Or,
machine
yeah.
itself.
Yep.
And the two pieces meet. The wood or, the substrate and the tape with the glue on it meet. And on the other end, it's edge banded.
Right.
So the Conturo, it's again, if you've had Festool tools, they're so nifty in how they figure out how to do the little things right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can guarantee with a Festool that almost everything has been very well thought out.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing about the Conturo. So we had the CBC Flex from Moxiwa, and we got it to work on some shelves and stuff, and it was like, well, this is like
It's okay.
It's okay. Like, it is putting the edge banding on there. There's some extra glue, and it's kind of finicky trying to figure out like how much glue, and the adjustment is just like a infinitely turning wheel. Right. It's like we got to figure it out, and then we start to edge band the TFL for the tree job, and it's not working, having issues with the glue and the heating.
Melting
The temperature is going out of control. Now, granted, they sent us a replacement part, but it was not working to the point where I'm not going to open this thing up, start replacing a major component. It's a temperature controller. It's the brain of this whole thing. So we needed something on such short notice. Like, that's the thing about Festool is you can buy it with confidence and know that it's going to work. Like, it wasn't a question of, well, should we try the Conturo, see if it works? No, we know it's going to show up, and you plug it in.
We just got to pay for it.
Yeah, and it only took us, 6 18-inch runs of practice runs to get down using it?
Yeah, it's they simplify a complicated tool all the time.
Yep.
So we really dig the Conturo. We haven't really tried it freehand yet because we bought the table.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like an edge banding machine. It really is.
Yeah.
The only difference is we have to feed the material.
Or sort of guide it.
Yes.
It does technically self-feed, but yeah, you gotta, just make sure it doesn't get hung up, kind of.
Right. The genius, I feel, of the Conturo, well, one of the really cool things is how they apply the glue to the tape.
Yeah, that's the main difference is with all these other machines, the Moxiwa, I'm trying to think of what other brands there are that do that.
Well, like the machines like a Grizzly or something like that.
Like the Veratex, the Grizzly. There's a bunch of different branded. Oliver has one, Felder, and they're all very similar. They all look, basically identical. They have a chocolate fountain.
Yeah.
The glue climbs up a roller, and then you push the work into the roller, and it applies the glue to the workpiece.
Looks like tahini, though.
Yeah. The cool thing about the Festool is the tape comes past, it puts glue onto the tape, and then the tape goes onto the piece.
Yeah, and it puts on the glue through these little tiny sprayer jets.
Yeah, and it puts lines of glue. So when you burnish it against the feed roller, it presses everything flat, and you get a nice even disbursement of glue.
Yeah.
These other ones, I mean, granted, we've only used the Moxiwa, aside from we've used automatic edge banders. Running the piece into the glue, that's where the problem lies.
So you almost need to account for like a glue snipe or something, a piece that you have to like cut off because
if the temperature's not consistent, you're getting differing consistencies in the glue. You have to do the adjustment so that when it runs into this roller, you're not getting all kinds of squeeze out on the top and bottom.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of squeeze out with the Festool, but
it's minimal.
Yeah, it all just falls to the lower part of the roller that's beneath the table, and you literally can just pick it off.
Yeah. You use their proprietary glue, which is in like this puck form.
Yep.
And you don't just dump it in like a hopper, like the other things.
It's like even fed by a plunger.
Yeah.
So it's pressure extruded out of the holes of this thing that's shut off depending on the height adjustment.
It's an amazing bit of kit, as they say.
Yeah.
So we thoroughly enjoy it. We love our Festool stuff.
Yep.
We're not fanboys. Like we have a lot of Makita things in the shop. We have lesser expensive things like the Veritas measuring stuff, and I have a couple of planes. So we're not total snobs when it comes to that stuff at all.
I'm not going out buying Festool drills.
No, we have little Bosch 12
or like
volters.
A oscillating tool, stuff like that. The Festool stuff, I'm sure, is very, very nice, but their specialty stuff is where it really shines. Routers, sanders, stuff like the Conturo.
Yeah.
I mean, even we got the MFT table, so you can edge band, parts that are 45 degree.
That's right.
Down an edge. So yeah, I mean, that machine is nice.
Yeah. So that's the Conturo.
That's the tool of the week.
Go out and pick one up.
Yeah, we'll have a link in the description, an affiliate link. So if you buy one, we'll probably get like about $2.50.
We should shout out to the guys that got it to us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we call it Tool Nut. They're up in New York, about 80, 90 miles north of us. And it was 1:30 on was it a Thursday? The day of the week doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And we said, listen, we're in a pinch. We got to get this I think it was a Wednesday. We got to get this edge bander because the one that we have it's not working. And we had to finish that tree by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Because we told the client basically that we would. So we said, we're trying to figure out if you guys would be able to get it out to us quick, or if we drive up there, what's going to be faster. And they said, all right, listen, it was 1:30. We're going to get it out today. We had it the next day, 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And that's when I went out and found it. It might have been out there from 9.
Right. Amazing, because we're still waiting for stuff.
It was UPS. If it was FedEx, we'd probably still be waiting for it.
We're still waiting for things that shipped out before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the supply chain is really it's not what it used to be, huh?
No. I mean, we got packages held up at port in China.
Yep. Good old China.
Yeah.
That's the rope.
Yeah. That's a story for another day.
All right. So Are we ready for the
second question?
The second question is from one of our newest patrons and our inaugural female patron.
Yeah, unless, we also have a patron named Kim, so I don't know. It could be a man or it could be a woman.
We're going to have to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mary Beth. I know Mary Beth, so this is why I'm laughing. This is our question. This is Mary Beth. Answer me these questions 3. What is your name? What is your quest? And what is the capital of Assyria?
I had to look this up. I'm sure half of you are giggling and the other half are scratching their heads.
You're like, what is that in reference to?
I'm like, I know this has got to be from something.
Yeah.
From Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Which I have seen, but, I haven't digested it well enough to be able to quote it like that.
So, the hard part is the capital.
Yeah.
I had to look that up too.
Dissolved in the 7th century.
Yeah, so it's Assur, Assur is the capital of Assyria.
And then what was that other big city?
Well, there was Nineveh.
Nineveh sounded very familiar.
Yeah. It was basically in the Fertile Crescent, that area referred to as like the cradle of civilization. Northern Iraq and
Turkey.
Syria. Yeah, and what's now Syria. Yep. So your name, we know that. We're Jeff and Rob.
What's our quest?
The quest. Depends what time of day.
Yeah. We're out here trying to change the world.
Yeah. Well, in all seriousness, we try to make the world a better place by, just being as good a people as we can be and doing as good a work as we can. We put a lot of stock in that.
Yeah, and I'd say, trying to educate, not that we're the end-all, be-all source of information, because we're
students.
Thousands and probably tens of thousands of people that know more than we do. But we try and pass along the information that we have, because we're so thirsty for information.
Mm-hmm.
So to have, a source of information is great. Even like clients, we went to this client's house today. He's got a table that he bought on Etsy that cracked because, the construction was improper. And we're going to fix it with a bow tie on the bottom side. But, we took the time to, explain the reasonings and
right.
We have in-depth conversations about the how and why with people when really we could just say, yeah, we're going to fix it. We'll be back next week.
Right. And because it's a little job. It's not,
you're talking a couple $100.
Yeah. But we enjoy meeting people that show an interest in what we do and in the craft world in general.
Right, and an educated client is a good client because they understand. He bought this table on Etsy from some guy in Texas for like $2,000. I'm like, listen, this guy that's a hobby.
Yeah.
Because you can't sell it for that and make a profit.
No, you can't make your living that way.
So even that is educating the client,
Yeah,
like,
because
he's like, oh yeah, like what would it cost if you guys built this table?
We didn't want to say at first.
Yeah. Because when you talk to a client, you don't want them to have unfair expectations of what is possible.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're educated on the process and the cost and all those things, it makes your job easier.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have done it, a little bit differently. We could maintain that style, which he enjoys.
Yeah.
But
it's funny, he called it a farmhouse table, but to me it was more contemporary.
Yeah, because of the angles of everything.
And how thin the top was. Farmhouse table, you thinking 1.5 inch thick top.
And the angles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he expected the top to be thicker.
Yeah. 7/8, it looked so thin.
Yeah. Because, we're usually working. And plus, we were working on those tops that are much thicker.
1.75 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in all, a nice table, though.
Yeah, I thought so, too.
Hell of a deal at $2,500 or whatever it was.
Yeah. So our names, our quest, and the capital of Assyria for everybody. I'll repeat that: Asura. Asura. Yes. We all learn something every day, don't we?
Try to. Got next question here coming in from Vince, one of our patrons, Rob Vince P on Instagram. Brooklyn boy, is Rubio monocoat really one coat? Do you like it more than or have had any experience with Osmo?
I haven't had any experience with Osmo. Have you?
Either. No.
Well, I mean, we've used it and put on one coat. On some samples, I think we've tried adding coats.
Yeah, to try and like get a darker color.
Yeah.
Or a more saturated sort of look.
Like on little sample blocks, we've tried. We've experimented.
With limited success.
Yeah.
It doesn't really want to take anymore.
In all the furniture we've done, we've just put on that one coat.
Yeah.
And buffed it out.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've heard of people putting on more than one coat. I don't know what their success or failure in that was, but
don't they say something on the, yeah, that's the whole thing.
One coat.
I
think you really need to just get a good coat.
Yeah. The application is key.
Yeah, it's like anything. If you see any of these penetrative finishes, if you see a dry spot when you're finishing, you need to work more finish into there.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that Vince hasn't really tried it. He's skeptical.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, because it sounds appealing, right? Especially if you're elbow greasing 3, 4, 5, 6 coats of something on.
Yeah. I mean, I think people think of Rubio like it's this cure-all where it's like, man, I've spent all this time finishing. I could just put this on, and it doesn't give you. It's like any of these. Like these are just tung oil. Yeah. It doesn't give you the protection of other finishes. So don't think of it as like, I'm gonna put one coat on. It's gonna be the same as polyurethane.
Yeah.
It's not that. It
doesn't have that deep of feel to it to me either.
Yeah.
Because it's one coat.
Yeah.
I mean, it does a good job for one coat.
Yeah.
You have to say that.
Yeah, I'd say for low, not low use, but for things that don't get handled a lot, like a bed frame or something like that, it's fine because it doesn't. You're not touching it constantly or putting glasses on it. It's like anything. It's a finish that requires maintenance.
True. So to answer your question, yes.
Yeah. I say always follow manufacturer recommendations.
Yeah, they're pretty thorough too.
Yeah.
Rubio has some thorough instructions on the can. All right, this is from Miles, patron, Eat Drink Wine Guy on Instagram, and he's asking, who is someone on YouTube, Instagram, or that that you would like to do some sort of collaboration with? What would that collaboration be?
I like that question.
Yeah.
Now, the first person that pops into my mind is John Peters. I mean, we've worked with John before, done, I don't know, maybe half a dozen little videos and stuff in the shop.
He's fun.
We haven't had the chance to have John in the shop to actually build something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because we already have, a rapport and a friendship, that it'd be a lot of fun to actually have John in the shop for a week and work together and have something a little more long format.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pull one out only based on the time we spent together on our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Wild Willie.
Yeah.
Because first off, he's done an amazing amount of stuff.
Yeah.
That's and every time I hear him say something, it's like, man, I've never done anything like that.
Yeah.
Man, I've never done anything like that either.
He's all over the place in terms of building furniture and even being a musician, all those kind of things.
So I would say him Plus, he's really a character too.
Oh yeah.
So it would be a real entertaining time and educational as well. So that's where I'm going. And what's Willie's handle or whatever? How would
Wild Willie's Woodshop.
Wild Willie's Woodshop.
Yeah, he's been a little MIA on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, people should check him out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And John Peters got his Instagram back.
Yep. He's John Peters _.
Yeah. Somebody hijacked it there for half a minute.
All too common these days, unfortunately. Put on two-step verification on your accounts.
Yeah. So that was a good question.
Yeah. I had one here coming in from Brian at Great Point Woodworks on Instagram. Have you guys done much using old reclaimed lumber?
Back in the olden days, I did 2 jobs.
Talking 1800s, 1700s,
early 2000s. I had a request specifically for reclaimed pine to be used in a kitchen. And that was when our old buddy Larry Hutt still worked up there at Eastern Hardwoods, and he got me these beams out of a place in Newark, of all things, because now we're in Newark and we see all the gentrification going on. It was a warehouse that was about 200 years old, and these were beams, big 12 by 12 beams, and he had it resawn into boards for me. So it had all like the nail. I mean, you saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Full of nail holes and wormholes.
Those iron stains from the nails.
Yeah, it was truly, beam type wood. And that was kind of fun because it kind of left you a little bit of creative license. We're so worried about all of the defects in the wood and everything that was really a nice vacation from that.
Yeah. Like, it's got a dent on the corner. No big deal.
And one other thing I did was for my now friends Carlos. It was Carlos and Michelle at the time. They wanted some sort of like seat that was by their front door, and I made it out of a hunk of I don't even know if you could call it a beam, because it was about 2 feet wide and about a foot thick. And I just went out to like a mill and got this hunk of it. And that's when I bought that plane.
What plane?
That scraper plane, because I thought, that's how I was going to flatten it.
Oh God.
Because I flattened one side by hand.
You were on the wrong spectrum.
Yeah. This was early on. I didn't know what was what. But I wound up flattening that with just a jack plane.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's my whole reclaimed wood story.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I built those railings.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is like reclaimed wood that didn't end up as something that was like supposed to look reclaimed. So I built these curved cedar railings for this guy. That shop we... You're gonna have
to tell the side story eventually.
I think we did talk about that one time. The shop we used to work in with quote unquote Tom. This guy who Tom used to do work for. He's like a commercial contractor. We did some restaurants and stuff like that. He, for his house, needed these railings replaced. So we went. Rob and I took him out, brought him back to the shop, and he somehow, on a building he was working on, got these big pieces of cedar that were, it was like probably 12 or 16 quarter by 12 inches. So cut it up, jointed it, planed it, and cut the big curved railings.
Yeah, it was a big arch in the whole thing. I mean, it was really
like an S curve.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's really the only. I've messed around with some of that pine that you had left over.
The last boards are back in the back 40.
Yeah.
it got all pithy and everything. It was no good.
We have a couple drawer fronts in the shop, and they actually 2 of them stuck, and I was trying to plane.
Oh
and
yeah,
it was just like like turning into like dust in the mouth of my plane. I couldn't even plane it. I busted out the spoke shave. It could barely plane it.
Yeah. So that
I don't think. Yeah. Other than that,
that was another Tom.
Yeah, Tom K.
Yeah, we went out there to install. He was pretty nice to us.
Yeah, he said, "Oh yeah, you guys need anything? Let me know." And then he locked the deadbolt on the door. If you need anything, go somewhere else.
Yeah, if you need anything, you got my cell phone number, right?
Yeah.
No, we don't. Oh, okay.
Go around, walk around back, walk to the front of the house, and ring the doorbell.
Oh man, and it's also it's expensive too. That wood.
Yeah, especially now. You know, you used to be able to get it for less, but
It's in vogue, as they say. Like the counters we're building for Newark. Originally, they were interested in something more rough, live, edgy, rough sawn, and it was actually easier for us to just do a nicely finished, thick countertop out of solid wood.
Yeah, I think they were going for the same thing that we gave them, just with a live edge, basically. But slabs are really expensive.
Yeah. So what's your go-to wood glue, brand and type? That's from Connor, Fallen Oak Custom on Instagram.
I'm a Type Bond 3 man.
Yeah. Well, brand, I agree with you. I'm Type Bond all the way. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a generation gap. I'm Type Bond 1.
Oh my God.
It's
just too thick. It's too damn thick.
I love telling Jeff how much I like Type Bond 1.
I can't use that stuff. Even the 2 sucks. You can't even spread it with your finger. It's so thick. Just like your finger gets like stuck.
You notice I'm adapting to Type Bond 3. I'm adapting. I'm finally getting a feel for how much Type Bond 3 to put on the joints.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole different thing.
Yeah. You need less.
Yeah.
Because the squeeze out comes out easier.
Yeah.
But I feel like it also penetrates the surface of the wood better because it's less viscous.
Yeah. So, I'm flexible, but if I was left on my own on a desert island and I could only have one glue, well, I don't know. On a desert island, I've been encountering a lot of water, so I might have to go for the Type Bond 3.
Yeah, that's one of the other benefits about 3 is it is waterproof.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the color to me is just more appropriate for wood.
It is.
Where they got the yellow orange color of Type Bond. Like if you're gluing a pine maybe, but you can't glue walnut with Type Bond 1.
If I had one reason to switch, that would be it, because the Type Bond 1 really dries orange just about.
Yeah.
And it's ugly. You got to get rid of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, God forbid you have some kind of glue line.
Yeah.
The Type Bond 3 is like a grayish brown.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really good for walnut, sapele, even white oak.
Yeah, everything compared to the 1.
Yeah.
It's better.
And 2, I don't know. A lot of the trim guys I worked with use 2.
What's the benefit of 2 over 1?
It's water resistant.
Oh, well. There you go. You know which glue I used I liked, but I didn't like the smell, was that fish glue. You ever try that?
No, I thought about it. And hide glue.
Yeah.
You know what I like is the Worth 5-gallon pail, the cheapest stuff that they sell.
That white glue?
Yeah.
That's because you got used to it over at the TCC.
I do like white glue.
You just enjoy filling up the little glue bottles out of the 5-gallon.
5-gallon, yeah. You want to sweat a little bit.
As it gets near the top.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You gotta roll that.
Yeah, like
roll
a big
over.
wine bottle.
Yeah, that's a skill all to itself.
We got another patron question here. It's from Matt, First Do Construction on Instagram. Do you focus on jobs in the order they are received, or do you prioritize outside versus inside versus shop work to account for the seasons? Now, Matt is in, I want to say, Wisconsin.
Uh-huh. He's First Do Construction on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what that means, first due.
I was wondering that. His logo is almost like a firefighter, like shield.
Yeah. Well, we pretty much go by who pays first.
Yeah.
So I guess that's in order they're received.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, we get jobs that come in, and then we'll do the design work, and they'll sort of be jobs, but people have not written the big check.
They're not like, okay, yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah, well, so they'll just sit on the burner until that occurs.
Yeah, until there's 10%, you don't have a spot.
Right.
That's basically the rule.
Yeah. And then we're all in on that job. And we kind of, I can't think of any time where we sort of juggled anything around because it was cold or hot. I mean, we might, within that job, do something different. But
yeah,
the jobs generally take a while. So
yeah.
And we got air conditioning and heat in the shop. So the most that could really, influence what's going on with us is the trip between the shop and the client's place.
Like right now we have 2 jobs going on simultaneously, but it always goes in order of like when we start the job. It's hard to.
Well, we have that big metal piece getting powder coated.
Right.
So there's a bunch of waiting stuff that's outside our control.
Yeah.
Those ropes are on the literal slow boat from China.
Mm-hmm.
So we're filling in the gaps with 2 jobs.
And we knew that there was going to be some overlap there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always just whoever gets in the deposit first, and people have schedules, so it's always like, all right, yeah, we're good to go. We need to be installed by the end of July. And then, then we fit it into the schedule as needed.
Yeah.
There might be a job that, like the Dutch door, we had been paid for that, but we didn't start that for a while because they weren't going to be ready for it. So there are situations where we place a project in a schedule, that's not the first open slot. But for the most part, it's just whatever is the first availability is. That's when people want it.
That's when we work. Oh, I like this next question. When a good song comes on, do you bust out dancing in the shop? Nick Trayer on Instagram. He wants to know.
I don't think we're much of dancers.
No. We're more of the headbanger variety. And we have been known to squeak out a few lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I sing along to most songs, I think.
Yeah.
Or whistle.
The closest I come to dancing is when, like, Killing in the Name comes on. Then I'll start jumping around.
A little grooving going, but no actual dancing.
No.
Dancing would be a disservice to the word dancing.
Yes. we more likely start our own little mosh pit than must have any true dance moves.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of head bobbing going on.
Yeah.
Because we're both big music fans.
Yeah, we love the music.
I feel like everybody says that. I love music.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think
but
it's
we
just
really
human.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just human nature. But
you're
a musician. And I have a big. I'm not a musician, but I have a serious interest in music.
Yeah, you're an aficionado, I would say, a true aficionado. So yes, if the music isn't coming out of the speakers, it's like there's a void.
Yeah, we've been having issues with it the past couple of days.
So the answer is kind of a no on that one.
Yeah, kind of like a half-assed.
Yeah. We bust out something, just not dancing.
Yeah. Like a white dad at a barbecue.
Or sometimes, like if I'm working and I'm running a tool or something and I pause and I hear like In Walks Barbarella by Clutch, I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll go like really crank it up.
Oh, yeah.
And not do anything until the song's over.
Oh, yeah. I'm the kind of guy, I'll sit in my car to hear the end of the song.
Yeah, so there are a few songs that really are shop favorites that we do, like just stop what we're doing to enjoy.
Like Promoter by Clutch.
Yes, which they don't put in the rotation enough.
No, they play a bunch of stuff we don't want to hear, but not that song.
We definitely sing along to that one.
Oh, yeah. I like this one for Miles. I put a call out this morning to the patrons. I said, listen, we got a lack of meaty questions. Send some over. What's a tool you were super excited about, but after getting it... What's a tool you were super excited about getting, but once you had it, you didn't really ever use it? For Miles, one of our patrons, Eat Drink Wine Guy on Instagram.
My scraper plane.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because, by the time I got it, I learned what it was, and it really wasn't what I needed.
Yeah.
It was something I bought in innocence and ignorance based on the title of it.
It does look sort of like a rough,
right?
Like a rough tool, but it's actually a
right. And then by the time it came, like, oh, after I wish I would have read that before I bought this expensively Nielsen plane. But it's a nice possession, I'll say.
Oh yeah, should any Lee Nielsen.
Yeah.
What was I super excited about? I don't know. I'm pretty obsessive over my purchases, so I think about it and I'll mull over it and put it in my cart and then wait a couple weeks and then put it back in, and so I don't know if I've had anything that. I mean, I bought stuff and not used it because like the situation hasn't come up.
Mm-hmm. And maybe we could expand the circumstances. We've gotten stuff that we were excited about getting it, but the real tool didn't meet our expectations. That's happened a couple of times.
Oh, actually, when I read this, I thought of this: the hinge boring machine.
Mm-hmm.
We bought that. Super excited because it was such a good price. Alec, one of the patrons, Alhead Woodco, guy that made the coasters and the cups and all that, he gave us a heads up. We went and bought that for a really good price, and we've only used it to try it out.
Right.
But we just haven't had a job since then that needed like
that
a lot
many,
of hinges bored, so we just bore them by hand. So I'd say that's the one that sticks out the most to me.
That's a great answer. Yeah. And probably the most appropriate.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
But when that next kitchen comes up, we're going to fire that baby up and bore all those damn holes.
Yeah, because when we have like 3 doors, 4 doors, even, that big cabinet going up, where's that? Where's the wine stuff? What town is that? Begins with an L.
Livingston.
That's
only 3 doors.
It's only 3 doors because 2 of them are fixed on the appliances. Yeah, so it's just easier to do it by hand.
Yeah.
All right. Here's an appropriate question. Do you guys use the dark tongue oil from Real Milk Paint Co.? If so, do you use the dark half? If so, do you use the dark half? What does that mean?
That's what they call it. It's pre-mixed.
Oh.
Half tongue oil and half thinner.
Oh, okay.
Solvent.
Yeah, I get it. So do we got it
I should have put dark half in quotations.
Yeah. Vince, he's asking. Yeah, we use it.
Yep. Yeah, but we do not buy the dark half.
Yeah.
So we'll buy a gallon of dark tongue oil and a gallon of citrus solvent, and we just mix it ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same price, but gives us more flexibility if we want to have a thinner coat or a thicker coat, whatever.
Yeah. I like it on cherry.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Tends to, give it a little bit more of that pre-aging.
Mm-hmm. I like it on white oak.
Yeah. Yeah. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, I mean, what makes it dark?
It's got like carbon something or another.
Yeah, we looked that up that one time, didn't we?
It's like basically like they add some sort of carbon not like charcoal, but something kind of.
Yeah, it's all natural still.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like almost the color of this beer, isn't it? Or is it darker than that?
I mean, the dark tung oil itself is like black.
Oh, but before we thin it.
Yeah, and then it's like maybe like looks like Guinness almost.
Yeah.
Like when there's a good bit of it, it's black. But then if you like were to pour it out, you'd be able to see through it. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Give it a try.
Yeah, this is almost what the regular tung oil looks like.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like that fake-ass tung oil that you guys buy at the hardware store that, is like clear. Like, yeah, this is tung oil. Well, that's actually that's linseed oil and mineral spirits and maybe a dash of tung oil for flavor.
Good measure.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one.
We got here. Oh, it's from our buddy Jack Thornton 98 out in Australia, who confirmed the dimensions on that big desk.
Oh, yeah.
I forget what they were, but
was he mixing centimeters and millimeters, or was it all millimeters?
I don't remember. What method do you use to keep track of schedule and planning? Computer or pen and paper?
I like a little chunk of wood.
Yeah.
And a pencil.
Preferably one that could get lost easily.
Our jobs kind of just, there's like an end date, and then there's just the two of us, and we're pretty competent, and we just kind of, at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, we go, what do you think? You want to try and do XYZ tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of neither almost.
Yeah.
It's very organic arrangement.
Yeah, I mean, there is no physical schedule exists.
Mm-hmm.
There is no calendar that says, we did try that with like a planning, a blotter calendar and like putting them on there, but it kind of just became like a wasted effort. It was no effort, but it's just a waste of time because it is what it is. We start the job, and then when it's done, it's done.
There's two of us. Something needs to get done. Get your ass over there and do it.
Yeah, we account on the schedule for, like, that's the worst case scenario. If it's taken us till the day that we said it was going to come, then that means that everything went wrong and we're behind schedule. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's part of being, I don't want to say this, not being good at this job, but like doing this for your work and enjoying it and being happy and putting out good work. You can't be under this strict schedule because it drowns the creativity and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to have enough time to do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you constantly have this deadline breathing down your neck, you start making compromises on the quality and all that stuff.
Shortcuts.
So, yeah, you need to give yourself ample time. If that means taking a little bit less pay, then that's what it is. We pay ourselves less than most guys, I think.
Yeah.
And we take longer to do things. So it evens out.
Yeah. And we reinvest in the company, and so we're somewhat I wouldn't say long-sighted, but we're medium-sighted on things. We want to exist in a happy frame of mind, and keep the company solid.
Yeah, a couple, extra $100 a week in my paycheck when I get home and I'm stressed and
it's not worth it.
No, I'd rather just
we
it
don't
be the way it is.
Exactly. All right, I'll read this next one. Oh, okay. How do you set up your table saw blade for a bevel cut? Table saw gauge, combination square, digital gauge, or something else? Is this the rest of the question over here?
Yeah, it keeps going.
All right. And this is it's from David Shoemaker, one of our patrons. He also wants to know, how do you make miter cuts on the table saw with the miter gauge, the table saw sled? I think you were talking about this on the episode with audio issues. Yeah, and some missed some of what you said. if you primarily use the sliding table on the saw stop, what did you use before? All right, that's a good, thorough question.
Yeah. So, primarily, we use two things. If it's just sort of an arbitrary bevel, it doesn't need to be dead nuts, whatever the angle is, then we just use the gauge on the saw.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm making a molding, I might just eyeball it, 17 3/4 degree. It doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
If it needs to be exact, I default to the angle cube, the digital, it's a Wixie. You can zero it out and then put it on the blade and measure the angle. I like that. I know some people like those Bridge City deals where you set it and then put the blade up to it. I never trust putting a square up to a blade because depending on the angle that you approach the blade with the square, you're changing the angle, the actual angle. So yeah, those are the two ways that I do it. And then for cutting miters, we have a dedicated 45-degree sled. And then sometimes we use the saw stop sliding table. Sometimes we use the miter gauge. It all depends on the situation. Sometimes we make a sled. Yeah,
a lot of single-purpose, single-use sleds.
Yeah, like if it has to be dead, accurate, repeatable, then the best way is to do a sled.
Yeah.
If you're cutting two angled cuts, then just use the saw stop thing.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to that. I love that little cube because it's got a little magnet in it.
Yep.
You zero it out.
I think it's on 3 or 4 sides too. That magnet.
You just put it on the table, then put it on the blade. Mm-hmm. It's super easy and it's very foolproof because, again, I'll refer back to the golden ages. I used to do the thing where you're just sliding something up to the blade. You got to make sure it's not hitting any of the teeth.
Yeah, yep.
And depending on how you're holding it, you might see a crack of daylight through there or not. And typically that's going to be close enough for what you're doing, but if you really want to get precise, I don't think anything beats that little cube.
Right.
And yeah, sleds. I agree with Jeff. I rarely use the crosscut on the saw for anything other than a 90 degree.
Yeah.
We don't really move that.
We have that Jessam.
Yeah.
Or Rockler branded Jessam that we've used that in the past.
That's true. And that's another thing. We'll set that up as almost like a sled. You know what I mean? Like we'll set it, lock it in, put a clamp on it, and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even trust the flip stops, to be honest. I'll put a clamp on the other side of the flip stop so it doesn't move.
Yeah.
I try and square up all ends and then turn and cut everything to length if it has to be that exact.
Oh, right. Oh, look at this. We're getting philosophical on the next question.
Yeah. We got one here from Justin De Palma, another Jersey guy. Is it better to be a woodworker or say you're a woodworker? That is the question. Long live woodpecker.
See, I love a guy who understands that this is not to be taken too seriously, this whole woodpecker thing.
Yeah.
Because it really is all in jest. I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
Wow. Of course it's better to be.
Oh, yeah. You get the benefits of being and saying.
But if you really, I mean, if you're really a woodworker, you're not really out there saying, I mean, the only time we ever say it, outside, our social media promotion is when somebody directly asks us, what do you do for a living?
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess the people saying that they're woodworkers are just like a facsimile of a woodworker, too. It's like there's no one that doesn't do anything related to woodworking saying that they're
I think that's really what he's sort of aiming at. It's like a lot of the social media posers and things like that. Somebody who, does some things, makes a shoe shine box and is not in the same category as somebody who's making a dining room chair.
Go get your shine box.
And we like to know that there's some differentiation between the two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is.
So it's better to be.
Always better to be.
Yeah, that sounds like something Yoda might say.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Miles, star of the show today.
Yeah. Roundovers or chamfers? Favorites.
See how favorites is spelled.
He's a Brit, huh?
Australian.
What do you like to use and when?
I'm going to default to the chamfer about 98% of the time.
Yeah.
I just like the way it looks better. Even a hard broken chamfer to me looks better than a roundover.
Yeah.
It's just more refined to me. I don't know, roundover. I don't know. There's just something about it.
I like a broken chamfer.
Yeah.
I mean, I love going back over it by hand, and get sort of that slightly irregular kind of thing. I mean, not irregular to the point where you see it, but just so it looks like a person touched it, as opposed to it being totally machine cut. Of course, that, on circumstances and the size of the chamfer. I mean, like a small chamfer.
Yeah.
The big ones where it's like a design element, I like to keep them crisp. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the roundover.
No, I mean, like we did 1/8-inch roundovers on that walnut countertop.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense
It's just a softer, that's more
in a
of like
commercial environment.
Yeah, a function over form kind of thing, because people are going to be leaning up against it, and the softer that transition is, probably the better. We could have even gone up to like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch, but just aesthetically, I think a 1/8 inch was the best.
Yeah,
compromise between function and form.
Yeah, so we're both in the chamfer camp.
Yeah.
I wonder what he likes to use. Anything else a favorite outside the chamfer?
No, that's the star of the show. I mean, even with a block plane, that's what you're making.
Yeah, I like the knockdown edge too. Which is kind of a chamfer, depending on like what's going on. I like to take the plane to it and just kind of hit it, a little sandpaper. I like that a lot of times on my doors, as opposed to the roundover on the doors. That's really, I don't like that.
Yeah, just a sandpaper broken edge.
Yeah. All right. Laughing at this next question. What do you do when you hire someone who doesn't know what they're doing? I was going to say what the hell they're doing. What do you do? That's from Keith. Our good buddy Keith, who just helped us out with a project, Blackthorn Concepts on Instagram.
Yeah, Keith is poking fun at himself here on this one, because we had Keith CNC at this watch face for us for a buddy of mine's company, and it gave him a lot of trouble. So I think his confidence is a little shaken.
Yeah. He feels better just getting that thing out of his house, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't blame him. The fact of the matter is that, I mean, every job that we do, we don't know what we're doing, because we purposely add something in that we don't know how to do. So all of our clients are basically hiring someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
Like the rope wall.
Yeah. I mean, that's a simple
the tree
example. Yeah.
We're bringing in our talents from previous jobs, adding a little salt and pepper on the top, and hoping that we can come up with the concoction for the new job.
Yeah, and it's not even a hope. It just is what it is. We make it work. We always make it work. So
we haven't not done it. That's the thing.
Yeah, all the critiques that Keith has, about the final product of the CNC thing, like, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
We adapt.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna polish that thing up.
Right. And I prefer it that way.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it keeps things interesting.
It's nice every now and then. Like I was saying, we did that cherry piece and the Dutch door, and they were so heavily technical. Maybe not. Well, the Dutch door, I guess, was too, but they were heavily technical and very refined, and now we're doing like some of this TFL work for the commercial and stuff, and it's a welcome respite because, that was physically and mentally exhausting doing a lot of that stuff on those last 2 jobs. So, it's nice every now and then to have a break and to do something that's a little easier, but...
Right, like the tree is what we say it is.
Yeah.
They don't have to fit something inside that tree and make sure that it works. Yeah.
And Keith was cracking up because he said, well, how big do you want that? I said, they're going to get what they get.
Yeah.
He said, man, the way you guys work.
You want to read this next one from Vince?
Yes. Have you heard anything good or bad about the new line of South Bend tools? From Vince, one of our patrons, Rob Vince P on Instagram.
It's curious. When we were hunting around for a planer, we inquired about one.
Yeah. And we had just heard about, Grizzly sort of acquiring the name.
Right. But we haven't heard anybody who's actually owned one, whether they have an opinion on it or not.
No.
It looks like it's all coming out of the same exact factory.
Yeah, it's anything in that Grizzly, Jet, Powermatic, they're all...
It's all coming out of the same Taiwanese factory or factories.
Yeah. Like, they're being made on the same block.
Yeah. They all go at the end of the line, at the end of the production line, they all go off to a different paint booth.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about it.
So, are there different components inside all these tools? Absolutely. I know they use different bearings and stuff like that. So, the basic anatomy of the tool is going to be identical to most of the Grizzly stuff. Are they using higher quality components? Maybe not.
That's usually the gimmick, I'll call it, of these lines of tools, where they'll add better bearings on one, or different gearbox in another, something to justify the higher cost, while the remainder of the tools more or less benefits from the economy of scale.
Yeah, the castings for the beds, like a planer are the same.
Yeah.
The housing for the cutter head. Like I will say, the Powermatic, it seems like it's a better quality than...
It feels, you can feel the difference, yeah. So maybe there's something else going on internally. But we haven't heard anything. Us, we're highly opinionated. If we hear something, we'll be talking about it for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. But yeah, we did consider the South Bend.
Yeah.
But, we were just... There's very little data, so
yeah, that's why we went with the Powermatic.
Yeah, we could have got a 20-inch South Bend, but I forgot all about that whole Oliver ordeal.
Yeah. We were pretty annoyed by it for a while there.
Yeah,
but we're bigger men.
Bastards. It's like a repeat from last week. From Keith K. Kulbecka, KLBECKA on Instagram. Favorite tool in the shop?
Wow. I'm gonna go with the saw stop.
I'm just gonna go back to my last week answer, the pencil.
Yeah. So you want to expound on that at all?
I don't know how much more I could say than I said last week.
Yeah, my favorite tool right now is the saw stop. It goes in phases, I'm sure. And I used the Unisaw for almost my whole professional life, I'll say. I loved that saw because when you use something over and over. I never got used to similar saws over at Tom's place. He has a couple of Unisaws, right? Is the one in the back a Unisaw, or is that something else?
I think it might be.
But
it's got a Biesmeyer fence.
Yeah,
it's not a Powermatic, is it?
I don't think so.
I think it's a Unisaw with a Biesmeyer.
Yeah, I never got used to it. There was something about mine that I really enjoyed.
Well, his blade height didn't lock. This thing was
I mean,
janky as hell.
his was a piece of crap. I
It's
mean,
a
it was
professional shop. What do you do? You need a blade height adjustment?
that thing was running to the ground.
Put a clamp on it.
Yeah. But getting the saw stop really was a notch up from my unisaw. And I don't care about the safety technology, just meaning the machining of it and everything like that. It's just so I really enjoy using it. And because it's the center of a shop like ours, it's something you use a lot.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite tool right now.
Yeah, I guess, maybe I'll give another one. The Conturo.
Yeah.
I mean, it just made what was a literal living nightmare.
We had our head in our hands, like we're like, what the hell are we
was
gonna
ready to
do?
punch a hole through the window. It just was so easy, and we did 18 4-inch wide pieces, two sides 8 feet long, and it was just like a breeze. Like, this is so easy. There
were so many, starts and stops with the other machine. Things binding up, too much glue, not enough glue. This and every little thing that could go wrong. So it was so much inconsistency. That's what made it so frustrating.
Yep.
It wasn't like, I got the glue just where it's supposed to be now, and then 2 pieces later, it's off again.
Yep.
Maybe because the temperature was fluctuating, so it was fooling with the viscosity of the glue.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought you might say the Conturo because you did the bulk of that stuff, and I could see you really, enjoying it. Even though it was a lot of repetitive stuff, there is a challenge to it, and learning that getting the finesse right, so you were intent on that. All right. What would Greene Street Joinery design and build if you guys were financially free? That's from Bryce, who has got the best name on Instagram, Waffle Beaver. Oh, God. Where would you start?
It's a hard question to answer because it would be so spur of the moment,
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, this week I wanted to build a chair. Next week it's a bed or a cabinet.
Yeah.
I think that would be the beauty of being financially free and just building stuff on spec is there doesn't have to be all this planning and forethought. It's sort of just spontaneous.
I'm gonna go big. Timber frame house. Timber frame house for me.
I don't know. That just doesn't really doesn't tickle my fancy.
Yeah, I did go on that retreat of that paid class thing where we built a timber frame for somebody, and I've been enthralled with the idea.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of a timber frame house, but I don't know. It's just got a lot of joints. Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah. But how many joints are there?
Well,
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. You're only building the frame, so.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. It took, I'm going to guess there were probably 10 or 12 people there at the time. It was a while ago, and it took a week.
Well, there's only going to be 2 of us, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so you know me. I like to shoot off my mouth a little bit, dream big.
You get it 2 weeks in, you get sick of it. I'll just put this off to the side for 15 years.
Can we scale this down to a gazebo?
A pergola?
Yeah, I would default to just like my first thing would probably be like a suite of furniture like we talk about
like
all the time.
Morris living room set.
Yeah,
Couch, a couple chairs, table.
Yeah.
Some footstools.
Something like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. Like several different things, but all tied into the same sort of theme.
Yeah. Closest thing I ever did like that was those 3 pieces for a non.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 dressers and the bed. But
yeah.
I tell you, there were 15 drawers. I was a little bit tired of drawers by the time that was all said and done. That was just 2 pieces.
be ordering from our new source
Yeah,
of
that's
drawers
right.
next time.
I mean, making a drawer box and fitting it and all that stuff is great. There's so much pleasure in it. But when it starts getting into those multiples like that, it's really a chore.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah, it's really a chore. So this is our last question. Is this going to be discussed in...
Oh, yeah, we don't have a question of the week. Shit.
For a question of the week, we may have to...
No, this one's not.
Yeah, so this is what kind of expansion, contraction can you expect from slab cabinet doors? And we're doing some slab cabinet doors, aren't we? On those on that credenza, we'll call it. That's from Jason, who's known as Timber Talent on Instagram.
I mean, it's very material specific.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about something like MDF, you're going to have expansion in all directions.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about something like wood, depending on the species and the cut, you're going to have different levels of movement. Something like, what's a highly moving wood? Like maple, flat sawn maple, like it's going to move more than quarter sawn oak.
Yeah.
Or like quarter sawn fir is going to barely move.
And
Quarter sawn pine is going to barely move.
that's a surprise for a lot of folk. Pine.
Yeah. Softwoods actually move less than hardwoods. I mean, there's charts that you can look up. We always default back to that because these are data-driven outcomes. Like, it all has to do with species, size, cut, humidity,
Finish even has
relative humidity of the wood. Yeah, the finish. So it's hard to give like a blanket statement.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we do inset stuff, and on the big end of the scale, we're leaving an 1/8-inch gap.
Yeah.
That depends on, what we're doing, whether it's painted or the season. I used to, have to worry about that before I joined the 21st century and got air conditioning in the shop. But, yeah, check it out online. That's your Bible there. Go online. You can get definitive answers.
Yeah. And you need to have good data about your wood. Now, we don't have
moisture content.
Yeah, we don't have a moisture meter. Well, we did. Rob lent it out to somebody. Never came back. But, you get a feel for where things are once you get them in your shop and you've, worked in that condition enough. So, yeah, you need to have good data on the wood to be able to extrapolate these numbers and see how much movement you're going to actually get.
Right.
But there are hard numbers that you can get. And
some of it will have to do with even the size of the pieces that you're gluing up.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those differences are infinitesimal, but it's all good information to have in your pocket.
Yeah.
So we've gotten to the thoughts on the beer of the week, which we've pretty much gone over at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
They're both empty glasses, so we drank a beer and a half, which is a lot for us. Although these were 12-ounce cans.
Yeah, we're usually having bigger.
Yeah.
And this is low test.
I know. I don't feel it like I usually do.
Doesn't even say, but it's got to be 4 or 5.
Yeah.
4 or 5%. It was good, enjoyable, nothing special, but
it was in the icebox.
That's right. It was cold,
and it hit the spot. So you want to thank our patrons and
we'll give a shout out to our gold tier patrons: Jerry Greenan, David Murphy, Manny Sirianni, Dustin Fair, Adam Podhast, David Shoemaker, and Colin Lai.
Yeah,
thanks,
baby.
guys.
So
we'll see all you patrons over in the question of the week, although we don't have a question of the week.
We're going to have to come up with something.
Yeah, we'll make something up.
Yeah. Our quest, our name in the capital of
maybe
Assyria.
we'll go and we'll look up a Dairy Queen in the Midwest and read the reviews. Because we've done that before, and it was pretty good.
Everybody take care.
See you next week.